All right. All right. Where were we? Ooh, jeez, got a headache. Not a headache. All right. So we left off at where did we leave off? I don't remember what we did last time. It wasn't even that long ago. Anyhow, all right. So what we're gonna do today? We're gonna make this green blob guy die. Okay, and we'll see what else we can do. Maybe spawn them. Do they die? Yeah, they don't die yet. We'll make them die, and then we'll also make them spawn. So maybe have a portal or something like that that will make them spawn. Could be cool. Could be cool. Also, I'm gonna do it on the fly, so mistakes might happen, which is okay. Right. Right. Also, I got a cool hat because I, shower in weird hair. Okay. Anyhow, so what can we do to make this guy die? There's a few ways of doing it. I think the way we're gonna go about is going to the bullet script. Actually, not the bullet script, the prefab bullet. Unless we didn't make one. Did we? Oh, we did. Good. Okay, so let's drag that on here. Something to edit. So here we have the collider and we have the bullet script. What we need to add is a test. Actually, we'll test it in the enemy. We'll see if the enemy, that hit a bullet, then kill itself. Right? Cool. So instead of bullet, we'll do it in the enemy. Let's go in the enemy. Open the enemy script. We'll let it load. Visual Studio. All right, here we go. Come on. Come on. It's taking forever. Yeah, sure. All right. It's kind of laggy. All right, so in enemy script, what are we going to do in an enemy script? We're going to have we already have on collision. So basically, we're going to check if this bleh. So we can either check the collision or we can check the trigger. I think we'll go with a collision for now unless that causes issues. It's possible it might cause issues. Actually, let's do trigger. Since I haven't done it, it'd be something new to do here. So underneath this whole, if you close this, you can see it's the whole thing. So underneath this parentheses, we're going to do another. Now, spelling is really important here. So let's do void, capital O, N, and then T, trigger. Oh, hey. They showed these on trigger things. They didn't used to do that before, which is, I don't know why they didn't, but they do now. I just noticed that for the first time. All right, so we want on trigger, enter, but make sure it's 2D because we are working with 2D colliders. And wow, if you press enter, it completes everything, which is amazing. Okay, so, we didn't really need the private and we could have written this ourselves, but make sure your spelling over here is exactly right. If for some reason your software isn't automatically completing it, make sure it's exactly like this. All right, so what are we going to check here? We're going to check if collision. Now, collision is the parameter that's being passed into this function, and that has happened automatically. This function is called automatically anytime some trigger enters the script, or in our case, the enemy, since this is on the enemy. So anytime a trigger or the enemy enters a trigger, this function will be called, and these properties over here will be passed in. So what we want to check from that property is collision dot. Let's see what we can check. We can check tag. I wonder if I have to do. Oh, it's been a while. So let's do maybe game object. So .gameObject.tag equals. So it's double equals because we're checking conditions. And we'll check for bullet. Now this spelling also matters, and I'll show you where. So let's make sure it's bullet. Open curly braces. All right. So in here we're gonna say kill itself. So let's just do destroy. Capital D. Destroy. Open parentheses, and what is it destroying? It's going to destroy itself, which is the game object with the small g. All right. So now anytime it enters a collider that has the tag of bullet, it's going to kill itself. This poor guy. Anyhow, so now we need to assign that tag onto the bullet because that's what it's checking for. So this is where we need that bullet prefab. If you go into prefabs and bullet, drag that on again. And we'll see over here tags in the top right corner. It's untagged right now, so we can either give one of the tags or add it. So let's add it. Click plus here under tags and say bullet. Now this is capital B, so this spelling has to be exactly the same as it is over here. So make sure it's completely exact. All right, once we create it, it won't automatically assign it. So we have to click the bazooka back, and then we have to go tag again, and then you'll see the new one here, and we'll click bullet, and then apply. All right, so once we hit apply over here, this will actually take this object and apply it back to this folder prefab over here. So we can actually go ahead and delete this. And if you click over here, you'll see the tag of bullet. Fantastic. Honestly, that's it. We've done it, I think, unless I mess something up. Let's see. If you click play, will it work? Actually, it will not work. So our collider right now is a collider. We have to make it a trigger. So under the bullet, we can see that it's a box collider, but it's a collider, and there's an is trigger. So we're going to tick mark the is trigger. And since this is already in the prefab, we've clicked it, we don't have to apply it. Unless you had it outside, then you change it, then you have to make sure to apply it. Otherwise, it won't apply to all of them. All right, so once we've done that in the prefab, we're going to click play, and hopefully, fingers crossed, it works. Let's see what happens. Boom. Look at that. It's like magic. Anyhow, poor guy's dead. I think we should get more of those guys because, I mean, it doesn't... Oh, what is this? Although we should also, before we do that, let's destroy the bullet because I feel like the bullet, there are too many of them. So we have to kill itself or either after it's colliding, it's destroyed, something like that. So on update, actually what we can do is we can set a timer on these bullets. Actually, no. Yeah, we can set a timer on these bullets to make them destroy by themselves if they don't hit anything. So we'll do something new here called the IEnumerator. Again, spelling is very important. And then we give it a name. So let's say wait for death. And remember, capital, well, you can spell it whatever way you want, but I like to do a small and then go capital every word. And then open parentheses. We don't have to pass in anything, just curly braces. Okay, and then now it's going to go red. It's because it's expecting something to return. So let's return that. Let's do yield, return, return, come on, new, wait 4 seconds. Okay, so a lot of things to return, but it's only one thing. It's just going to wait. So we're going to make it wait. Let's see. You know what we'll do? We'll go on the top over here and we'll go private. And we'll say float, and we'll say death time, and we'll set it equal to like, oh, well, for testing purposes, let's just do 1 second. Okay, so in here we're going to say, instead of putting 1, we'll just put in death time. That way we can change it up there. Keeps our code clean. Okay, so once it's waited 1 second, what happens then? Then we're going to say kill itself. So the same way the enemy kills itself, destroy, and game object. Fantastic. So since this is on the bullet, it will destroy the bullet or itself. Now this won't actually do anything yet because we haven't called this function. So what we should do that is call it in the start function. You don't want to call it in the update, otherwise it's going to keep calling it. You just wanted to call it once. It'll wait 1 second and then it'll destroy. So in the start function, we can just do, you can't just call it, since it's not a regular function, it's an enumerator. So you have to start the coroutine, which is fancy word for just another function. So we're going to do start coroutine, and it should be an autocomplete. And then we'll do open parentheses, and then we'll put in the function name. So this is where we put in the name, which was death, or wait for death. Put that, and here we do the parentheses again, and close it. So if you want to see a little bit clearer, here we go. Okay, so that will start the routine, or call this function at the very start, which will wait 1 second and then kill itself. So let's see if that works. We go here, let's see, da-da-da-da. Come on. All right, press R. See, 1 second, and then boom, kills itself. 0, 1, 0, 1. So it kills itself. So now we can either change that time to whatever we want. That's up to you guys. Let's see what else we get. All right, we wanted to spawn the enemy. So let's spawn the enemy as well. I think the first thing we're going to have to do is turn this enemy into a prefab. Because remember, to spawn things, you have to turn them into prefabs. So that's what we're going to do here. We're going to turn it into a prefab. So where's the enemy? Enemy is right here. Select it, drag it into the prefab folder, and voila. Now we can do whatever we want with it, and it'll duplicate itself, or is duplicatable, right? Okay, so what we're going to do here is, in fact, delete this. We don't need this. What we're going to do is create a portal, and I'll show you guys effects and stuff a little bit later. Let's get the code done, and then we'll see. So for now, let's just right-click over here in the hierarchy, new game object, and let's call it spawn portal. All right, we're gonna have to create a new script here. Nothing too fancy, just 1-line code. Let's call it spawn portal. Even that's fine. Small s. Actually, scripts are usually capitals, everything, but that's fine. Spawn portal. Use C# script. Enter. We go in there. All right. I don't know why that thing keeps popping up. What is it? What do you want from me? But okay. So down here, actually, we don't need anything, I think, from this. Do we? Actually, we do. What am I thinking? All right. So we're gonna have to say what is it spawning. So let's create a public game object because we're gonna spawn the game object, which is the enemy, which is also the prefab. So it's saved as a game object, so it'll spawn it, or we'll be able to drag it into here. So public game object, and let's call it enemy, or capital E, why not? Semicolon. Okay, so we don't need a start function for this. We just need a way for it to keep spawning. So let's give it a time. Let's say private, we can do public. Public float spawn time. Okay, and then in the update is where we're gonna do the timer. So let's do if spawn time is less than 0, then we'll do spawn the object. So the way you spawn things is by a thing called instantiate. Instantiate, okay? And in it, we're just gonna put in what do we wanna spawn, which we know is the enemy object right here. Then it's gonna ask you, where do you wanna spawn it? We can just say wherever the portal is. So transform.position, because remember this is on the portal. Then it's gonna ask for rotation, and honestly, 99% of the time you don't have to worry about the rotation, so you can put in 0. Or the way you put in 0 for rotation is by typing really fancy words. Quaternion dot identity. No clue what that means. Yep. But it basically puts the object in 0. It's not going to rotate it anyway, just 0 it is. All right. Semicolon that. So now every time spawn time is less than 0, it's going to spawn it. Now it's going to get below 0. It's going to just keep spawning in every frame. We don't want that. So what we're going to do is actually create another function. And this one can be private because it's only for our code to use. We'll put float again. And we'll say original time. Oh, turns out we do need the start function. So let's create void start. Voila. And in that, we're going to say original time equals spawn time. So in the starting, we'll grab the spawn time. So we have it stored so we can reset it every time. So every time it goes below 0, we'll say go back to your original place, which is what's going to do. Spawn times equals original time. Okay. Now, well, I just realized we haven't made it go down anyway, so let's make it go down. Let's do spawn time minus equals, we can do either 1 times time delta time or time delta. Let's do 1. So we just want to minus it 1. But this is going to do it every frame. So we're going to multiply it by times dot delta time, because what that does is evens it out on all the frames in 1 second. So however long it takes, however many frames it takes to complete 1 second, it's going to divide that number by it. That's why it's going to be perfectly 1 second per 1 second. So 1 every 1 second. Fancy way of saying minus 1 second every second. All right. So spawn time, so now it's going to subtract the time. Every time it's below 0, it's going to spawn this object and reset the time. That should be good. Let's see what happens. We have to drag in those public variables though. All right. So we have the enemy in the prefab folder. Oh, click spawn portal again. Near there. Put the enemy in here. Spawn time, let's put it to like 2 seconds. Actually, that might be crazy. 3 seconds. Then you can position it. Portal somewhere. If you press W, you can change these, you know, W, E, X, or R, whatever. If you want to put a little editor spot, what you can do is click this little circular cube thingy and click one of these little icons so it will kind of display on there. That way you can have a visual. It won't show up in the game window, but it'll show up over here. Something for you to see. Alright, so we know it's going to spawn here. So let's spawn them. I think everything should be good. Let's see what happens. Don't fail me now. Hey, there it is. Kill it. There they are. So you can see the time going down here. Every 3 seconds, it keeps spawning these enemies. If you really want to go crazy, you can lower it to something crazy, but be careful. Your computer will blow up and it'll hang. So make sure you save before you do this. But let's see. If you click play, boom. Don't even let them land. In fact, if you wanted, you could put more of this. You can have one over here. Oh, duplicate, Control D, and put one over here. Or even higher. Now they're going to be spawning like crazy. Let's see. My computer's already being crazy for some reason. Look at that. Look at that. Just kill them all. Anyhow, So that's enemy spawning. What else do we do? Enemy death. And yeah. I wanted to do particle effects to show the portal, but I think we'll save those visuals for some visual episode or something like that. So that is it for today. See you guys. And